And so I see that Gail is here, and Gail had a question about adding a call me button. Gail, I'm going to turn your microphone on so that you can chat with me for a moment here. So Gail, you're on now.
Thank you.
Would you like to explain what it was you're trying to accomplish?
Yes, in the websites that I've put the phone number in the header, I did nothing specific, and if you press it from a smartphone, it calls. In Thesis, it does not, and I was wondering what we needed to do to make that happen.
So can you give me a URL so I can go take a look at it?
Yes, ABES, A-B-E-S, pestcontrol.com. I don't know if it has changed, but on my Droid, because I think I have it in parentheses, it will work directly from my Blackberry if I press one of those numbers. And I did not program it in any way for that to happen. This is what I'm talking about, is from a smartphone.
Sure.
So on my Blackberry, I press it, it gives me the option to call. On my Droid, it does not, and I think it's because I put the area codes in parentheses. But this is not an option in a header for Thesis. And since Google has changed with that little magnifying glass to see window of the websites, I would like to have that option for Thesis as well.
Yeah, I'm opening up on my Blueberry, or my Blueberry, good, my Blackberry, and so I can see what the behavior is you're talking about. I'm not sure I understand why there would be why it would not work in Thesis, but it works in something else. And
I had used your formula to create a header that you had on YouTube, which has worked very successfully for me.
Okay.
I didn't know if, because I put the phone number in there, that it is created as artwork. I just don't know how to make this happen in Thesis, and I think it's very wise for a smartphone to be able to press the number in the header and have the call made.
Oh, I see, because the one you created was actually it was a graphic image, not text.
Probably.
Okay.
I'm guessing. I don't know.
Well, actually, that would be, I totally get what you're talking about now, because it's absolutely right. I'm sitting here with my Blackberry and on your site, and if I click on if I hover over it, it asks me to call. Now, the problem with it on my Blackberry is I just hovered over the phone number and clicked on it, and it's asking me, do I want to call 746-2237? Now, obviously, that wouldn't do me any good because my Blackberry is area code 206, and you want to call. And so I think that does have something to do with the way that the area code is displayed here.
And I know that. I figured that out, actually, but here's the funny part. When I built this website, I didn't know they automatically ask you to call, so I made the area code smaller, etc., as you see here.
Sure.
I'm going to correct that now so that that's a possibility from smartphones. So I know how to correct that here. My question is, how do I make that a reality in Thesis? Because if you go on to my website, you'll see several of the blogs that I have built with Thesis, and every one of them, because of the smartphone feature, has the phone number in the header, but it isn't allowing the call to happen as it does in this website.
Can you give me an example of one of those sites that's got the phone number but it doesn't work?
I'm going to give you a site that I built with your header.
Okay.
let me think. Well, try my site,
Okay.
adviceonadvertisingblog.com.
Okay, advice on advertising for the Internet Yellow Pages. And this is the phone number you're talking about right here.
Correct.
Okay, let's see.
If you press that from a smartphone, it does not ask to call.
Sure. I want to look at it in Firefox so I can tell exactly what's happening here. Okay, so that is this image right here.
Correct.
And it is an image. It is not a phone number. So if you wanted to, and did you use, when you say you use the method that I have on YouTube,
Yes.
was that the open hook method? I mean, did you use open hook? Okay.
I'm not sure if I used the open hook. I know I created the image.
Yeah.
I loaded it in Sandbox 1.
Yeah.
Put it on there, converted it to HTML.
Yeah. Yes, that would be using open hook. And so we'd have to use a different method for doing that. And if you will log on to the forum and post this question on the forum, I will, let's see, how much time do we have? We've got about 13 minutes. The way to do that is to make this not an image, this part right here, but to make it a piece of text. And in fact, it might make sense to make this little section right here also a piece of text, since it's, but even if you don't do that, but to make this piece of text that sits on top of this banner, right? That's how I would approach doing that. And I can give you some code. Essentially what you're going to do is you're going to uninstall OpenHook, and you won't use that for this process. What you're going to have to do is use your custom functions PHP file to do this. But what you'll do is you'll create this header in a way very similar to, well, you'll have this header image just without the phone number in it. And you'll make that a background of the header. And then you'll make a text area inside of that header that you'll put this phone number in. And so this phone number will sit over the top of the rest of this image. And I can provide you with some code on the forum that you could, plug into your custom functions PHP file and make it work for this. So I guess that's what I'm suggesting, is that just briefly post this question on my forum, and you can
on your forum or the DIY forum.
No, on my forum, and do that under Thesis PHP, just to sort of point you in the right direction. That would be under the forum here.
I haven't been on there in a very long time. I'm not sure I remember how.
Well, all you have to do is log in.
Yeah.
Just log into my site. Once you're logged into my site, you'll be right here, a dashboard. And once you're there, you can just come over to the forum and then scroll down to Thesis PHP and post it. Post your question there under Thesis PHP, and I'll do a little thing on how to make that happen.
Okay. Well, now that Thesis has the 1.8, you don't have to go through the steps that I had to go through prior to 1.8. It has a place where you just upload the header.
It does, but that's not going to get you a text phone number.
I know.
And so now you could, if you wanted to use that method, if you wanted to use the Thesis header image method for inserting the header, but you wanted then to overlay a phone number over the top of that, I can also show you how to do that. And actually,
that would be great.
Somebody else has just recently asked me a question that was very similar to that I didn't really fully answer, but I'd be happy to do a little tutorial on how to use that custom image header, but overlay something on the top of it. Whether it is overlaying a search box, which is, I think, what they were asking me, how do you put the search up there, but also how we could put a phone number up in that place. And so, yeah, post that question to me there.
Well, I don't want just a phone number. I want a phone number that has the call function.
Well, actually, all it is a phone number. It's an actual piece of text phone number that your phone recognizes as a phone number.
Okay.
And so all we need to do is put it up there so that the phone recognizes it. And when the phone recognizes it, I mean, that's all you really need is, right? You just need the phone to recognize it as a phone number. And I'll definitely show you how to do that.
Okay, and for the sites that I've already built that I want to make corrections, will the instructions work as that also?
Oh, sure. You bet.
Or do I need to go in and take that old banner out with the phone number that exists?
What I would do is I would take the old banner out, remove the graphic phone number from it, then use the Thesis 1.8 header feature to put that phone number back in, or put that graphic back in, and then we'll use PHP to put a phone number back in the same spot you wanted it in the first place.
Okay. But as far as on mine with advice on advertising, I have lines above and below it for feature purposes. And
you can leave the lines there. Just take out the phone number.
Just take out the phone number.
Yeah, if you just take out the phone number, then what we'll do is we'll move the phone number up so it's in between the lines.
Mm-hmm. And then we don't need to do anything then to allow it to, we don't have to make a statement, click to call, or anything of that nature.
No, people who are using their smartphones for this purpose already understand how that works.
Right.
Right. So, and if you put a click to call there otherwise, what happens is the person thinks, oh, well, I can call this phone number if I just click on this and talk to you through my microphone and speakers. That's a different, and in fact, when you asked that question, that's what I thought you were asking originally, way back when. Mm-hmm. And so I tried to find a solution that would allow a person sitting in front of their computer to click on it and use their microphone and speakers to talk to you. And I tried a couple of them, and neither of them worked. So, I was going to suggest Google Talk or Skype for that. But
right. If you look at all the links that I have there, everybody has a phone number in their header, but none of them function. So.
Right. And it's because the reason they don't function is because it's not a phone number. It's a graphic image.
I understand.
And so all we have to do is remove the graphic element and put a phone number there in its place. And I will definitely work on that for you so that you can see how to replicate that. In fact, I'm going to do it with this banner. I'm going to steal your banner, take the phone number out of it, use that as my example. And then we'll put that up on a demonstration site so you can see what it looks like. We'll do a little video on how it got there with the code that we used, and you can see how it's done.
Okay. Now, is this going to be a premium video, or is it going to be a video for everyone?
I generally make these premium videos, but if you need it to be a free video, I'll be glad to make it for you for a free video.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.